Hello everybody, welcome to another video on the Traxion YouTube channel. Now, the new build on iRacing is here, so that means Season 3 2021. And for this season, for the next 12 weeks, I'm going to be doing the track guides for the Fanatec GT3 Challenge in the new Porsche 911 GT3 R. So you may have seen my track guides on my own YouTube channel, but for this season, they're going to be exclusively on the Traxion YouTube channel. This isn't a place for hot laps. It's a slow, methodical approach to learn the circuit where I talk about my braking markers and reference points and the little quirks that each circuit has. So I'm going to show you the lap in full now, and then we're going to jump in the car and talk about the circuit as we slowly pick up the pace. So here we are then on pit lane at Road Atlanta. We'll talk about pit entry and pit exit later on. You shouldn't need to pit in this series, but if you do, it's because you've had a penalty that you haven't cleared and you've got to drive through, or you've got some damage that you need to get fixed. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Brake bias, default, I think on the medium sprint setup is 54%. I run mine here at 50.5. That's what I'm running now. That's what I feel most comfortable with. I did try 52, which was good, but it was a little bit quicker with 50.5. If you feel the car is just over-rotating on corner entry, then just play around that number. Just dial it back up to wherever's comfortable, 52, 53, even higher than 54. Find the number that suits you so it's not going to over-rotate on corner entry. Now, we'll get out there. So we'll talk about turn 1. When we go around next time. But essentially, when you come around turn 1, you're going to be faced with this hill here, and your car's probably going to be round about here. Well, you need to get the car as far over to the right hand side as you possibly can to open up the left at the top of the hill. But it's blind, as is most things here at Road Atlanta. So you can use these trees as a reference point. You can see where they are, the road is moving to the left hand side. So at the top of this hill, you might need to just feather the throttle slightly, just a slight lift, just to get the front tyres loaded, just to help the car turn in to the left hand side. And as you do, you'll see a curb appear on the left, and you want to try and be at this point here, braking in a straight line for this horrible little chicane. And there is a white line across the road there. You brake just before that point. Third gear, and then you're turning in and you're going to be jumping this curb, so you're probably going to be taking this much. If you go over there a little bit faster than we're going now, you'll probably get a 1x, but at full race speed, the right hand side of your car will hit that curb and it will jump, and you won't touch the grass, so you won't get a 1x. So you need to jump that to have a decent lap here at Road Atlanta. That's one of the places that can make or break your lap. But just be careful when the car lands. Just be careful with your pedal inputs, because it will wheel spin and you will lose control. So just be very smooth at that point. And then as soon as you get back on the gas, you want your car right over to the left hand side, right on this curb. That will help with rotation. And then you want your car right on the left for the S's going down the hill. Get your car as close to this curb as you can. You might need to lift slightly just on the way down, just so you can get your car towards the right hand apex here now. Then you can run your car right over the curb on the left hand side, just to straight line this. I try and stay off these two next curbs, the one on the right and the one on the left. You can, or I do, run over the one on the right towards the end of the curb, just in the braking zone, but I try and stay off the one on the left. The Porsche doesn't seem to like it at all, so I sacrifice a little bit on corner entry, but pick up the throttle nice and early and maximise my exit. So you're braking down, touching this curb here, down into third gear, try and stay off this curb. You can run it a little bit, but not too much, but then accelerate hard, use all of the track on corner exits, even this little access road here. Just get back on before you touch the grass. Then up to fifth gear down here, you'll see at the 200 marker there is a white line. It's really hard to see when the shadows are across it, but you can see it just coming into view there now. That's going to be our braking zone or braking marker for this next right-hander. So this is heavy braking down into third gear in a straight line, but then you just gently come off the brakes and let the car coast into the apex. Third gear, but as soon as you're at this point, back on the throttle quite aggressively for a very, very short burst of acceleration, which will push the car out to the left, get your left wheels on this curb, and then you're going to be pretty much back on the brakes straight away for this right-hander. Now, as with most corners here at Road Atlanta, it's blind, but you can use the curb on the left-hand side as your turning point. So second gear, turn in, a little bit of brakes just to help the car rotate. If the car's not rotating as you would want it, just knock it down to first gear. That will help the rear of the car rotate. And then get on the gas, use all of the curb on exit, and just get back on before the grass. So it's flat out all the way down here, left hand side of the circuit, and then as you approach this crest, you're going to be moving over to the middle and then over to the right. So it's going to be sixth gear, and we're going to be braking just at the 100 board, or just before the 100. You can see there's another white line going across there. We're going to be braking all the way down into second gear. Now this is going to be the overtaking place this week here at Road Atlanta, so it's good advice to practice your alternate lines here. So approach it on the inside, approach it on the outside, pretend you're having a bit of a battle with somebody there. That would be my advice, because from experience this is the place to overtake. So braking all the way down from sixth down to second, straight line over to the right as far as you can, but then you're going to be turning in and you're going to be cutting quite a bit of this first left. But be careful, you can get off track there quite easily, so it's easy just to get sucked in and push a little bit too hard there, but you will get off track. And then that then opens up the right hand side, the right hand corner here coming out. So then you want to modulate the throttle, nice turn in there, clip that apex, then use all of the curb on exit, and then you're faced with a hill and you can't see what's going on behind it. So I use the yellow, red and white flag at the top there as my reference point. So if you head for that, you're not going to go too far wrong. But what I like to do, I head for that for initially, and then just move over to the right, and then that will put you on the apex for this corner at the top of the hill. Then as you drop down, this is all flat out, you don't lift, flat out all the way up to fifth gear. If you clip this curb, it doesn't matter. There's loads of downforce at this point. You'll get round. Don't worry about that. And then it's the run down to turn one, which is probably one of the trickiest turns here. And this is where you're going to see a lot of people spin out. In the Porsche, you've got to have the car nice and settled before you do anything. So especially here at turn one, brake in a straight line and then just gently off the brakes. Nice and easy with your inputs with your steering, and then you coast the car to the apex. So we're braking just just before the end of the wall or just at the end of the wall, braking in a straight line, and we're going to be down to 4th gear and gently off the brakes, and then we're going to be letting the car coast, just coast toward the apex. Once the car's settled, it'll coast in just fine. Try not to hit the curb on the right, because that can unsettle the car. And then at this point, when you're on the apex, you're right back on the gas again. Get right back on the gas, dead aggressive. You can carry much more speed through there than you think you can. That will push the car over to the left hand side, but then you want to get it over to the right. This is where I mentioned you might need to just feather the throttle a little bit just as you go up here. So braking in a straight line, jump this curb, then get the car right over to the left, up to 4th gear. And then we're turning in before you can actually see this right hand corner there. Use all of this curb on the left, and then we're going to be braking nice and early, straight line, down into 3rd gear, then on the gas early. Use all of this on the exit. Just get back on before the grass. Looking for the 200 board here now. And then we're going to be braking down into 3rd gear. Let the car coast into the corner, then back on the gas, and then back on the brakes. Turning at the end of the curb, and then nice and early on the gas. Use all of the curb, and down the straight into the last chicane. I'll try and pick up the pace a little bit more now. I'll try and talk you through what we're doing as we do it. So we're looking for the 100 board there just before, so braking hard in a straight line, down into 2nd gear. Cut this one, that will then open this one. Just don't give it full gas until you're happy. And flat out, don't lift, up to 5th gear. It will get round. And we're going to be braking down into 4th, just at the end of the wall, but being really, really smooth as we do it. Nice and smooth with the throttle inputs, then back on the gas. Get the car over to the right. Just a little lift of the throttle just to get the car to turn in, and braking in a straight line, cutting the curb. See, we didn't get off track there. Up to 4th gear, turning right before we can actually see this corner here going down the hill. Over this curb, up to 5th. Get the car nice and settled. Don't touch that curb, but use all of this on the exit. Then we're looking for the 200 board on the left. Up to 5th, down 2 gears to 3rd. Let the car coast. Back on the gas. Over on the curb, down to 2nd. Use all of the curb on exit. So I would advise practicing your alternate lines through this section here. There's not many other overtaking places here at Road Atlanta, although there are lots of places where you'll make a mistake. So braking just before the 100, down into 2nd gear, cut this curb, and then accelerate. Then once you get on the gas there, the earlier you get on the gas there, the better, because you're not off, or it's 100% throttle all the way to turn 1. So it's a 120.0, so there's lots and lots more pace here. So get the car nice and settled, get on the gas early, car over to the right, a little lift just to get the car in, just before that white line, down at 3rd gear, dead gentle as you get back on the gas, turning right before we can see this right-hander, flat out, up to 5th, then get the car settled here before you turn, then accelerate. Use all of this on exit. That's another place where people are going to make lots of mistakes. So just braking there, just at that white line, let the car coast into the apex, then on the brakes, get on the gas nice and early. So this is a little bit quicker. So what we'll do now, we'll practice pit entry. Now pit entry here at Road Atlanta reminds me of the top of the hill at Bathurst. Is it Skyline, where you've got to turn right, then left, then right, and it's very, very similar here at Road Atlanta, and a very, very similar principle for entering the pits and when to brake. So you can't see it here, so you've got to signal your intentions early there, by the way. Make sure that you are over to the right hand side, because you're over to the left and somebody goes at the inside, you ain't getting over here. So pit entry, so we're going to be turning in, and then you're going to be braking on the straight bit here, so you're braking down to 3rd, and then braking at the straight bit here down to 2nd, pit limiter on. Really, really tricky there to do it at speed. So you've just got to make sure it's really, really easy actually. I've done it loads of times where you put a wheel on the grass and that's your pit entry done. So you've got to be really, really gentle on the brakes on the way in. So pit exit here at Road Atlanta. Nothing really to worry about here because the cars are going to be off the racing line as you come out of the pits. So they'll all be coming on your left hand side here now. The blue cone's quite a way up the hill actually. So here, they'll know you're coming out of the pits. So it's pretty safe. But you've just got to bear in mind that it's difficult to filter back into traffic. So just keep an eye on your relative at this point when you're re-entering the track. But Road Atlanta is one of my favourite tracks on iRacing. It always provides spectacular racing. There's not that many places to make an overtake, but there's lots and lots of places where you can make a mistake or where you can force the driver in front to make an error. So that's where you're going to capitalise, the likes of here. If you're pushing somebody, it's really easy to overcook this, get a couple of wheels on the grass, just lose all your momentum, or at worst spin out. So it's really, really easy to force somebody into a mistake here at Road Atlanta. I can't wait for this week. It's going to be superb. So there we go. Hopefully this track guide helps. Please let me know in the comments if it does. Then at least I know I'm teaching the right things. Week 2, we go to Hockenheimring. So make sure you tune in for that one. Also, please remember to like, share and subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. See you later. Cheers.